Setting up Microsoft Access. Introduction to the module. Microsoft Access is a database management system from Microsoft that combines the Relational Access Database Engine with a graphical user interface and software development tools. It is a member of the Microsoft 365 suite of applications, included in the Professional and Higher editions or sold separately. Microsoft Access stores data in its own format based on the Access database engine. It can also import or link directly to data stored in other applications and databases. This chapter guides you in studying ways to create and modify databases, manage relationships and keys, navigate through a database, protect and maintain a database, and print and export data. Topics to be covered: create and modify databases, import database objects and data, safely delete objects from database, create and modify databases. When you start Access without opening a recently used database or double-clicking a database file, the program opens to its startup screen. The startup screen displays a list of recent files and a set of thumbnails for templates on which you can base a variety of desktop databases or Access web apps. Access also provides an option for creating a blank desktop database or a custom, blank, web app. Create databases. Access databases are made up of database objects, tables, queries, forms, reports, and supporting objects such as macros. Templates provide some or all of the database objects you need to manage the type of data the template is designed to support. When you create a blank database, Access provides a single table by default. You can set up and define other database objects to expand the databases you create. By default, Access names new database files by using database n, where n is a number such as 1 or 2. You can enter a more descriptive name when you create the database. Access provides templates for desktop databases and for what Access calls SharePoint web apps. The thumbnails for web apps display a globe. When you work with an Access web app, you work in a web browser, but you design and modify the web app in Access. You can share the data in a web app by using an instance of SharePoint. A blank desktop database opens with the navigation pane open. In a blank database, Access creates a default table, called Table 1, which serves as a starting point. Access displays the default Table 1 in what Access refers to as Datasheet view. When a table is displayed in Datasheet view, you can define field names and data types and insert records. You can also display a table in Design view. In Design view, you work directly with the structure of the table, the table's field names and properties, instead of with the records stored in the table. To create a database from a template. 1. On the startup screen or the new page of the Backstage view, click the thumbnail for the template you want to use. 2. In the File Name box, enter a name for the database. 3. If you want to store the database in a location other than your Documents folder, do the following. A. Click the folder icon to the right of the File Name box. B. In the File New Database dialog box, navigate to the folder where you want to store the database. C. Click OK. 4. Click Create. Access downloads the template if necessary, and then creates and opens the new database. 5. If an info bar below the ribbon displays a security warning, click Enable Content. Import database objects and data. Whether you start with a blank database or base your database on a template, you can add some or all of your records by importing data. You can also define part of the structure of the data by, for example, using column headings in a spreadsheet as field names in a new table. Data sources you can use include Excel workbooks, other access databases, text files, XML files, Microsoft SharePoint lists, and Microsoft Outlook folders. When you import data, you generally have three options: importing the source data into a new table, appending the data to a table that's already defined, or linking to the data source to create a linked table. When you are importing objects and data as part of creating a database, you use the first of these options in most cases. Access often provides wizards that help you provide the information Access requires to import data from a specific format. When you import data from Excel into a new table, the Import Spreadsheet wizard prompts you for information to complete the operation. The wizard first prompts you for the worksheet or the named range you want to import. You can view the sample data that the wizard displays from the worksheet, but you cannot modify it. Access can use the column headings in the worksheet as field names in the database. You can also specify each field's data type and whether Access should index the field. The wizard's fourth page provides options for setting the table's primary key. Access can create an ID field in the table to use as the primary key, or you can select a primary key field or use no primary key in the new table. When you import data from another Access database, you can import all the objects in that database or only the objects you select. The Import Objects dialog box shows the tables, queries, forms, reports, macros, and modules in the source database on separate tabs. To import data from Excel into a new table: 1. On the External Data tab, in the Import and Link group, click Excel. 2. In the Get External Data dialog box, click Import the source data into a new table in the current database, click Browse to locate the source file, and then click OK. 3. In the Import Spreadsheet wizard, select the worksheet or named range that has the data you want to import. 4. Click Next, and then work through the wizard to specify whether the first column of the data includes column headings, set field options, designate a primary key, and name the table. 5. Click Finish in the wizard. If you want to save the steps in this operation, in the Get External Data dialog box, select Save Import Steps. To import data from another Access database: 1. On the External Data tab, in the Import and Link group, click Access. 2. In the Get External Data dialog box, click Browse to locate the source database. 3. Click Import Tables, Queries, Forms, Reports, Macros, and Modules into the current database, and then click OK. 4. In the Import Objects dialog box, do either of the following. To import all the objects from the source database, click Select All. To import only specific objects from the source database, select objects you want to import. 5. Click Options, and then set the options for the import operation. In the Import area, click Relationships to preserve table relationships defined in the source database. In the Import Tables area, click Definition and Data or Definition Only. If you are importing queries, in the Import Queries area, click as Queries or as Tables. 6. In the Get External Data dialog box, do the following. A. If you want to save the steps of the operation for reuse, select the Save Import Steps checkbox and provide a name and optional description for the steps. B. Click Close. To import data from a text file into a new table: 1. On the External Data tab, in the Import and Link group, click Text File. 2. In the Get External Data dialog box, do the following. A. Click Import the source data into a new table in the current database. B. Click Browse. Navigate to and select the source file, and then click OK. 3. In the Import Text wizard, do the following. A. Specify the format for the file you're importing, delimited or fixed width, and then click Next. B. Choose the delimiting character or specify column breaks, depending on the format selected in step A. Select first row contains field names if this option applies. C. Click Next, and then work through the remaining pages to set field options, designate a primary key, and name the table. D. In the Import Text wizard, click Finish. 4. In the Get External Data dialog box, do the following. A. If you want to save the steps of the operation for reuse, select the Save Import Steps checkbox and provide a name and optional description for the steps. B. Click Close to import an XML file. 1. On the External Data tab, in the Import and Link group, click XML. 2. In the Get External Data dialog box, do the following. A. Click Browse to open the File Open dialog box. Locate and select the source file, and then click Open. B. Click OK to open the Import XML dialog box. 3. In the Import Options area of the Import XML dialog box, do either of the following, and then click OK. To import only the XML file structure as the table's definition, select Structure Only. To import the XML file structure and the data values, select Structure and Data. 4. In the Get External Data dialog box, do the following. A. If you want to save the steps of the operation for reuse, select the Save Import Steps checkbox and provide a name and optional description for the steps. B. Click Close to import a SharePoint list. 1. On the External Data tab, in the Import and Link group, click More, and then click SharePoint list. 2. In the Get External Data dialog box, do the following. A. In the Specify a SharePoint site box, enter the URL for the SharePoint site you want to connect to. B. Click Import the source data into a new table in the current database, and then click Next. 3. On the Import Data from List page, for each list that you want to import as a table, do the following. A. Select the List checkbox. B. In the Items to Import list, select All pages or an option such as Recent changes. C. Click OK. 4. In the Get External Data dialog box, do the following. A. If you want to save the steps of the operation for reuse, select the Save Import Steps checkbox and provide a name and optional description for the steps. B. Click Close to import an Outlook folder as a table. 1. On the External Data tab, in the Import and Link group, click More, and then click Outlook folder. 2. In the Get External Data dialog box, click Import the source data into a new table in the current database, and then click OK. 3. If multiple mail profiles are configured on your computer, the Choose Profile dialog box opens. In the dialog box, select the profile you want to import from, and then click OK. 4. If prompted, enter the username and password for your Outlook account. 5. In the Import Exchange Outlook wizard, do the following. A. Select the folder you want to import, and then click Next. B. Make changes to the field names or data types access assigns to the folder's contents, set the indexed property for a field, or specify to skip a field. Then click Next. C. Choose an option to have access set a primary key, select your own key, or set no primary key. Then click Next. D. Change the name of the table if you want to, and then click Finish. 6. In the Get External Data dialog box, do the following. A. If you want to save the steps of the operation for reuse, select the Save Import Steps checkbox and provide a name and optional description for the steps. B. Click Close. To delete a database object 1. Close the object that you want to delete. 2. In the navigation pane, right-click the object, and then click Delete. 3. In the Microsoft Access message box asking you to confirm that you want to delete the object and remove it from all groups, click Yes. 4. If you are deleting a table and Access prompts you to confirm that you want Access to delete the relationship, click Yes to remove the relationship and delete the table. Access databases depend on the relationship between tables to preserve the integrity of data and to eliminate redundant data. You can delete most types of database objects, including queries, forms, and reports, without affecting underlying relationships. However, Access prevents you from deleting a table that is related to another table without first deleting the relationship. Access deletes the relationship for you if you agree. Summary. Once we have finished this module, we should have learned how to create and modify databases, import database objects and data, safely delete objects from database,